Hi, boys and girls. I'm going to show you where you can find the Module 3 lessons in social studies. If you've noticed that in social studies, the BUZZ lessons stop after Module 2. So I'm going to go to your social studies course. And if you scroll down, you'll notice you've got your Module 1, Module 2, and then it stops. Well, Module 3 and on are in the HCS supplemental resources. So all the lessons from here on out after Module 2 are going to be in this folder, HCS supplemental resources. And that's because the lessons on BUZZ did not correspond or correlate with our South Carolina standards. So the district has made new assignments under this HCS supplemental resource. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. Once you click on that, you'll see Module 3, 4, 5, and 6. So from here on out, you'll be working within these modules. We're starting in Module 2 with federal expansion. So we're going to click on Module 3, federal expansion. And then within Module 3, you have 8 different lessons. 3.1, which is time period overview. 3.2 is World War I. 3.3 is Roaring Twenties, and so on. This week, we're just going to focus on lesson 3.1, time period overview. So we're going to click on that. And then within 3.1, time period overview, you have 2 lessons that you're going to complete this week. You're going to complete lesson 3.1A, time period overview, and then 3.1B, background vocabulary. For this video, we're just going to talk about the lesson 3.1A, and then I'll make another video for 3.1B. So for lesson 3.1A, time period overview, we're going to open that. And again, this is Module 3, federal expansion. So you're going to read through this content, and it's going to tell you what you're going to learn about in this module. We're going to be learning about a time period of American history during the early 20th century, so about 1910 to 1940, and how international events and conditions affected the United States and South Carolina. And this time period was known as the federal expansion because our country grew. It expanded in so many different ways. Now, with these new social studies lessons, they're going to be broken down into steps. For this lesson, you've got step 1, step 2, and step 3. So for step 1, it says, before you get started, think about what you might already know about this time period in your state's and country's history. Print the KWLH graphic organizer. It might be easier for you to create your own chart in your social studies notebook. And I technically would recommend this option just because you're going to be adding to this KWLH graphic organizer throughout this whole entire module, all of Module 3. If you have it in your notebook, you can just continue filling it out and just adding pages to it. If you rather use the worksheet, it's at the bottom here under attachments, so I'll pull that up. And you can print this. Now, when you print it, you'll notice it's quite a few pages. It's 5 pages long, and that's because, as I said, we're going to add to this throughout the whole entire Module 3. Okay, so it is a lot of pages, but you're going to add to it as you go on through Module 3. So step 1 is to either print that worksheet or to recreate it in your notebook. There's also an app called Books on your iPad. If you have a Chromebook, I don't think you have this app, but on the iPads, there's an app called Books where you can open PDFs and type on them, and it actually saves your work. So if you rather do it that way, that's fine as well, and then you can just submit it onto BUZZ. And as I said, you're going to be using several pages of this document. So make sure you print all the pages or have a few pages in your notebook that are open for that. For step 1, you are completing the K column, listing what you already know. So what do you already know about this time period in our country from the 1910s to 1940? What are some things that you know about the United States or South Carolina? I know you guys studied South Carolina history in I think 3rd grade and part of 4th grade, and then you got into some United States history last year as well. So what are some things that you've learned or maybe you've read about? And you're going to fill out the K section, what I know, okay, in your worksheet here. All right, step 2, it says next, study the Module 3 photo collection, and it's linked here. If you notice, the letters are blue. You can click on it there, or you can click on the bottom here, Module 3 photo collection. Okay, so you're going to look at those pictures, and based on the photos, what questions do you have about this time period? Add your questions to the W column on the KWLH graphic organizer. So I'll go ahead and open up the pictures and let them load here for a second. All right, so you've got a photo collection. So these are just different pictures from the time period of the federal expansion. And I want you just to look at them. Take some time and look at each individual picture and think about some questions that you have. What are some questions about that you can think about based on these pictures? Like, why are all these people lined up? Depression. I've heard about that before. I wonder what that means. The depression cycle, So I want you to look at these pictures and think about what you're wondering. Okay, and after you come up with some questions, you're going to put them in the W section, okay, of your graphic organizer. Okay, so let's go back to Buzz. Okay, and that was step 2. Let's take a second to load. Okay, so step 2, you're looking at the pictures, and you're adding your questions to the W column of your KWLH graphic organizer. And there's a note here. You will add to this organizer throughout the module. So if you're not going to use your Books app, make sure that you keep it in your social studies notebook if you print it. Even if you print the worksheets, keep them together because you're going to add to it throughout your modules. And you're going to have to submit pictures of it at the end of the module. So please keep the KWLH document somewhere safe. You can save it on the Books app. You can print it out and keep it in a folder, or you can recreate the chart in a notebook. Those are 3 things that I recommend. All right, and then step 3, in the comments section area of the submission page, so right here in the comments section, you're going to submit 2 things. Number 1, I want you to type at least 3 of your questions from step 2. So if you remember, in step 2, you wrote your questions in the W column of the KWLH graphic organizer. You're going to type at least 3. You can type more, but at least 3 questions in this comment section. And then step 2, or number 2 in step 3, you're going to choose the most interesting photo in the collection and describe it. And you're going to need to use complete sentences, proper capitalization, and correct punctuation. So for number 2, in the same comments box, you're going to pick one of the pictures from this Module 3 photo collection that you looked at in step 2, and you're going to describe the pictures. One picture. Choose one picture and describe it. What does the picture show? Do you see people? What are they doing? Do you see a chart? Explain what you see, okay, in complete sentences and proper capitalization. So for this assignment, you really don't have to attach anything. You do not have to attach your KWHL chart yet. You're just turning in number 1 and 2 right here, and you're going to type those in the comment section, and then you can just hit submit my work. So you don't have to attach anything. Okay, you're just turning in, you're typing 3 of your questions, and then you're describing one of the pictures from the photo collection. Okay, and then when you're done typing it, you're going to hit submit my work.